Hello everyone, it's me, the e-bike cowboy, and for today's video we're going to be talking about probably one of the more important upgrades you can actually do for your Altis Sigma with some handlebar upgrades. So let's get to it. So what we have here is the Pro Taper KLX 110 bend handlebars, which is at a rise of 143 millimeters. So the original handlebars for this, in my opinion, were not very good. When I rode it the first time with the stock handlebars on this bike, it felt very cramped, that it was just like the bars were too low. It was all hunched over like a stink bug. But with these bars are vastly superior compared to those old bars. With these ones, I am more lean back, but I also have more control over the bike with this. And here's MX Electric to give you some more details.
The first thing you need to do with these handlebars is they have 4 marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, to cut them down to narrow them. I cut it at 3 on both sides, and then it was long enough to make the rear brake line fit. To smooth it, I cut it with a hacksaw, used a hose clamp, marked it, and then used that as a guide, and then smoothed it out with the Dremel. And last, I just went over it real quick with a finishing sander with 320 grit sandpaper. On your horn button gear selector part right here, they have a locator bolt, and they had a corresponding hole into the original bars. Well, I didn't want to drill a hole into these Pro Tapers, so you can take that bolt out, but then you couldn't get it tight enough. It would slide around, and so you could either wrap it with electrical tape, but I had some little pieces of plastic spacer that came with the with some mirrors that I had bought, and I just used those, and I put a piece under the bottom half of this bracket, and then on one side of the park button, and then that took up the gap, and then when you tighten it, they're tight. They don't go anywhere now, and you didn't have to drill any holes. You can see how the back brake line goes up along the top of the swing arm, and then it goes in along the battery, up along the frame, and then it works its way out and comes out the front. At first, it wouldn't fit, and there wasn't enough brake line. So I got to looking, and so you have all these cable guides that go up, and they make it do a really sharp bend. So we took out the bottom cable guide, and it just screws out, and you can get right in there with, I think it was a Phillips screw, take it out, and instead of making it bend like an L, it did like a faster bend, and that gave an extra couple inches of brake line, and now the brake line fits. Well, here's a quiz. What's the heaviest part of your bike? Is it the battery? Is it the frame? Is it the motor? No, it's you. A person is 3 or 4 times heavier than the battery. So when the bars are too low, your whole upper body's over the front of your bike. This bike was super nose heavy. You'd go over a jump at anything and it wanted to just do a natural endo. So by bringing these bars up, now you can move back a little bit, and it instantly changed the way this bike felt. So the bike was already stable, and the stock bars were all right if you're sitting just riding on the street. But as soon as you got to the dirt, this bike was just like a Talari MX-5, very sketchy. So did the same thing like you would do to those, put taller bars on. And instantly that made this bike more balanced. This bike handles super good. And it's more comfortable on the street because you're not hunched over. It doesn't make your lower back or your shoulders tired. Now you can sit in a more natural position, but on the dirt, it just makes this bike balance better. This is probably the best handling e-bike that I've had out of all the different brands. This bike handles better than a lot of gas-powered motorcycles that I've raced. So this is a really good deal. And it's only there in the high 70s is what the bar costs. So you're not spending a ton of money, and it's just a direct bolt-in. Finally, it's not 110 and above, so it's nice riding. So I'm too hip, gotta go.
That for me personally, I believe that this is definitely one of the best upgrades you can do for your Altis Sigma. The more comfortable you are on your bike, the better control and the better handling you are capable of. I believe that if something is making you uncomfortable on it, you are perfectly justified to change it. There are some limitations, like you're always stuck with the frame of the bike you've chosen, but everything else is pretty much up for change. Handlebars, wheels, all that. What has been making it like a little bit different with the Sigma is that there's not a whole lot of aftermarket parts for it compared to like Sur-Ron, Talaria, or E-Ride. Well, for the most part, it's pretty good already stock, so it doesn't really need a whole lot of stuff. But I will leave a link to the handlebars either on Amazon or whatever website I can find these bars on. It will be in the description down below. So if you're interested in these bars, click it below. Okay, with that being said, adios, my amigos.